Time for the latest update on the government's efforts to find and bring back all of the 287 people still unaccounted for. We're now joined by our Park Ji-won in the studio. Ji-won?
Hi, Yusan. The government is considering designating this Jin-do Island and nearby seawaters as a special disaster zone to provide financial support for the sake of rescue operations and other necessary aid.
Well, a lot of confusion here, but one thing is for sure that the whole nation wants everyone found and returned safely. We're learning of new details on what may have caused this vessel to sink.
Right. It came in about 3 hours ago that it is confirmed by VMS, or Vehicle Monitoring System, that this ferry made an abrupt shift at around 8:48, 4 minutes exactly before 4 minutes before the first report came in, and this could have caused the ferry to list. Due to this, the 180 vehicles and 1,000 tons of cargo on board to shift to one side abruptly, and ultimately leading the ship to capsize very quickly. And this is a provisional finding. It's important to repeat that the investigation into what happened will be continued, and there is still a possibility that the ship might have crashed into submerged reefs or rocks.
Well, some people, in fact, many people seem to be saying that this, if the disaster could have been greatly reduced if appropriate measures were taken at the right time.
Yes, Yusan, unfortunately, human errors are being blamed for causing this tragic accident to be worse than the situation. And we've heard reports that the passengers were told to remain where they were when the ship first encountered trouble, which runs counter to what safety experts advise people to do in such situations. They should have headed for open air. Also, there are reports that the captain of the ferry, identified as 69-year-old Lee Jun-seok, was one of the first to jump into a lifeboat, reportedly the only available lifeboat at the time. He abandoned the sinking ship and hundreds of passengers. Experts say that it's absolutely unacceptable that the captain, who should have remained on board giving directions, abandoned ship along with other crew who also bailed out pretty early. The captain spoke to investigators this morning and said he was truly sorry for the passengers and the victims' families.
정말 죄송하고 면목이 없습니다. 뭐라고 말씀드릴 수가 없습니다.
Well, and the new report came in and saying that he wasn't even in the wheelhouse at the moment of crash. And the captain didn't answer questions whether he changed the ship's course or whether he used the only available lifeboat to rescue himself. And according to the nation's Ship Safety Act, the captain has a responsibility to remain on board in the event of trouble until all passengers are safely rescued. Coast Guard officials are currently investigating Lee on charges of manslaughter. And it's also pointed out that this ferry was carrying 46 lifeboats, which was mandated by the law. However, in the footage released of rescue operations, only 1 or 2 rescue boats were spotted, meaning the other 40 plus were not even deployed. And some reports say the boats were tied to the ferry by a chain. Experts think this is all because of the lack of preparedness and training, which all boils down to human error.
Well, as we continue to look for and hold on to hope for the return of the missing, another one emerged today that possibly some of the missing on the vessel are maybe staying alive from a possible air pocket that's formed inside the vessel. Tell us more about that.
Yes, experts point out that the vessel has not completely submerged into the water. As we can see on the footages, there's a tip of the vessel is still on the surface, meaning that there could be a giant air pocket there, an air pocket that survivors could be using to breathe and stay alive. And local media reports have been talking about a case out of Nigeria last year where a fisherman survived for 60 hours underwater by using such an air pocket until he was safely rescued. So families of survivors all hope and wish that such a miracle might unfold here in the nation as well.
Well, of course, we're all hoping for a miracle at this point. And also reports emerged earlier today that some text messages were sent to parents of the missing overnight.
Right, and that gave some families of the victim hope that their loved ones are still alive. But Sadly, the messages turned out to be all false, according to the police investigation, which breaks the hearts of parents who held a glimmering hope in the messages. At around midnight last night, some 15 hours after the ship started listing, the messages said they were alive, so which did raise hopes. But now they all turned out to be false. Police say no records of further messages sent since the noon yesterday when the ship almost sank into the water.
All right, Jiwan, thank you for that update.